Hey y'all, it's your girl Stephanie. This is Wrestling in Color Podcast right here on the YouTubes. Make sure you thumbs up the video. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, all them spots. Make sure you subscribe. Welcome to my new subbies. We are still growing and growing nice and slow and steady. Just like the way I like to do things, nice and slow. And we'll keep it PG. Make sure you try to check out my political pop culture podcast over on Patreon called Shitsugar Podcast. The link is also available in that banner at the top. And what are we talking about today? We're talking about Sonya Deville. We're talking about the more visibly Sonya Deville over down at the SmackDown, which listen, SmackDown is not doing anything for me. I didn't even bother watching it after I saw Miz and her segment with the Miz and John Morrison. Listen, John Morrison is that man's like what 40 something years old. His body is excellent. He is a sexy specimen. He is the total package. He's versatile. He can give you what you need, and they completely fucked him up by putting him back with the Miz. Maybe he's having fun. Maybe this is the end of his wrestling career and he's cool with it. But after I saw that segment, I just went ahead and went on over to Amazon and watched what's her name? Hillary Swank beat up her mother. I forgot the name of the movie. So I'm on the internet minding other people's business because I got some things I want to say about Sonya Deville, and I see she has a couple articles up on Sports Illustrated. And it says, one article says Sonya Deville emerging as WWE's next top female star, male or female. Then it says Sonya Deville have everything it takes to be the top superstar, whether it be male or female. So I think this is a fun conversation to have in Sonya Deville's rise. Okay, they gave Sonya Deville a platform on this last season. I believe this is the last season of Total Divas. Now, I enjoy, if I haven't said this before, I enjoy the first 4 seasons of Total Divas. After that, I don't got nothing for it. I can't do it. I can't do nothing for Total Divas because this last season I could barely get through it. It was terrible. So let's get into this article about Miss Sonya Deville over at the Sports Illustrated magazine showing. One more time, y'all. I am indulging in the Malibu Strawberry. I was looking for Malibu Strawberry. It was a new flavor, and it did not disappoint. So I'm going to be drinking it till it's gone. I got some coconut in there, some amaretto, because I love my amaretto sours. But, on the weekend when I'm off, I enjoy me a Malibu. So I'm feeling really good and really fine. So we're going to try to get through this, okay? So I can give my opinion. Because it wouldn't be me if I didn't give my opinion. This week in wrestling, Sonya Deville's rapid rise since turning heel. Stephen McMichael's unexpected Twitter stardom and more. I don't know who that is. So we're just going to focus on Sonya. Sonya Deville. Becky Lynch is expecting her first child and off Raw for the foreseeable future, which takes one of WWE's top stars off camera, which is much needed. Okay. Likewise, on the CW, actress Ruby Rose stepped down from her lead role in Batman, forcing the network to take a massive risk by casting a new character for the show. While WWE and Batwoman seem to be entirely different realms, Daria Berenato offered the remedy for both openings turned on Sonya Deville. That's how they wrote it. Deville is Berenato's character on WWE, where she has elevated herself into a prominent role since her heel turn in April. Playing the villain has presented Deville with a long-awaited opportunity to showcase her charisma, edge, and personality, and she is quickly emerging as one of the prominent stars on SmackDown. And I quote, "My career for the past 5 years in WWE has been everything it should have been in terms of preparing me for where I am now. I've learned so much working with Paige in Absolution and Mandy in Fire and Desire." Well, wait a minute. What did she learn from Paige and Absolution? They literally were together for like a week. And Paige ended up retiring and Absolution was dissolved Okay. I think she meant Mandy and Fire Desire mostly, right? I've never been more ready to be on my own and show the world what I've always known I'm capable of. I have everything it takes to be the top star, whether it be male or female in the WWE. I don't know. I would watch her. I would watch her, but I just don't like the storyline she is given. But let's finish. Um, One of Deville's strengths is her voice, and she makes it a point to speak out against injustice. With people across the United States engaged in deep discussions about the nation's racial inequalities, Deville has asked how pro wrestling, which always mirrors society, can play its role in prominent to promote equality. And I quote, "We have a lot of chaos going on in our world right now, and it's so important that if we have a voice, we use it for good. I hope I can help make change for better. The Black Lives Matter movement is very important to me." I'm not even going to say what I was going to say. If you want to go ahead and head on over to Shit to Sugar podcast, I have an episode on that. Something I've spoken about strongly, I've always used my voice to promote is equality. Whether it's race, religion, ethnicity, sexuality, it doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is equality. And something that's super important for me to use my platform. Okay, we do know she's gay and she's a very large proponent of um, LGBTQ issues. DeVille believes that representation in WWE and beyond is critical to widen the people's perspective. I do agree with that. And I quote, "The WWE that I've always been a part of and that I've known has always been diverse and accepting community." I don't know what she's talking about there. I am happy to be a voice for the LGBTQ community because that's something that's very important to me. Me and Mandy pitched the LGBTQ storyline on Total Divas over 2 years ago. She did. And it didn't work, but I wouldn't change anything. That's not saying representation can't be portrayed differently in the future. Inclusivity in every form is important, especially in WWE, and that's something that I've talked about over the past few years in the company. I personally don't remember that, but I guess she was more focused on the LGBTQ aspect of it. Right now, during this pandemic, we're seeing more black wrestlers, but it's also a pandemic. So it begs to differ. It begs me to long to think, if this wasn't a pandemic, would we be seeing what we're seeing right now? I'm always going to ask that question. And let's continue. So never say never with that story coming around full circle, but I love where I'm at now, and I love that my character is doing. A key representation for DeVille is becoming your most whole, authentic version, as it is empowering to embrace who you are. And she says, I don't like to be coined as the MMA fighter. Oh, because on the Total Divas, she made it a point to say she was an MMA fighter. Her and Ronda Rousey got into a little verbal fisticuffs on Twitter. Hmm. Oh yes, yes. Or the gay one. But you wear a flag in the back of your pants when you were a good guy, so I assume that you wanted to be the gay one because the majority of you on Total Divas was you being the gay one. And we'll continue. My work speaks for itself. I'm Sonya Deville, the most dominant superstar in the division right now. That's how people should explain who I am. Really. Deville's breakout moment in WWE happened post WrestleMania promo on SmackDown, where she initially appeared to beg Mandy Rose for forgiveness before exposing the reason she believes her former best friend is a fraud. I've always had a voice and I've always had something to say, but until a couple of months ago, I hadn't been given the opportunity to say what I felt. There's there was so much passion and emotion in my relationship with Mandy, both on TV and in person, so it's easy to translate into what's happening. In addition to Rose, DeVille has also started a new program with Lacey Evans. Storylines with more depth and layers are the necessity of DeVille in order to evolve. Every moment of SmackDown marks another opportunity to show her work in ring. Pat, listen, I don't even remember her issue with Lacey Evans because Lacey Evans has been putting an issue with Naomi, and it's funny because they weren't on TV this go round. Naomi got her win, and she's off TV. But we'll talk about it at another time. I'm finally getting the opportunity to show the world I'm the most well-rounded star there is. The SmackDown Women's Championship is my next goal. Customarily, DeVille would be able to receive a temperature check on whether her work connected from the fans at shows, but there is no shows. And that is one of the reasons why I'm like, when Mandy, would Sonya Deville even be in this position if there was an audience? I really don't think so. She went on to say, a lot of what we do is crowd based, so it's definitely different, but it's a challenge to me as a performer and a creator on how I can best appeal to the millions watching. I'm so grateful for fans, and I wouldn't be here without them. I always keep the intensity and the passion. Now, let's dive into my part of this. Now, the reason why what WWE is doing is they're using the YouTubes to gauge fan engagement. Mm. So Mandy and Sonya getting beat up. Sonya brutalizing Mandy got a lot of views. I think over 2 million views. So that means to the WWE that we like it. This is my issue with Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose and what Mandy and Sonya Deville have been put into. Since Sonya was Mandy's sidekick for about good 3 years and up until this change. Sonya Deville is upset with Mandy because she feels like Mandy has used her good looks and her appearance to get ahead, as opposed to Sonya Deville having to ride behind Mandy because she doesn't look like Mandy. That is the whole reason why Sonya Deville is upset, and she feels like she deserves her just due. And so, in order for her to get out ahead of Mandy, she got to beat Mandy down and destroy her from the inside out by hook or crook. This is the problem I'm having with the storyline. Every storyline that deals with a woman has something to do with their physical features. Whether it's Nikki Cross being called a fat rat, whether it's Ember Moon sitting in the back looking like a damn skater girl being bullied over a fucking switch in her books. And essentially calling the woman ugly. Y'all remember that whole thing Mandy and Sonya was bullying fucking I literally just said her name. This liquor. Woo. They was bullying Ember Moon. And I hated the fucking storyline because Ember Moon has one of the best finishing moves in the Eclipse ever. And no one can top that move. I may be outside of Asuka and her Asuka lock. So I don't know why she was put in that position before she ended up breaking her shit and ripping the meat off her bones. And now she's been out of work for going on a year. So Mandy went on to, berate Nikki Cross and how sexy she is, and Nikki's fat and look like a rat. And Sonya just stood in the back and, like, ooh, don't say that. Ooh, don't say, like, two high school bitches, like Mean Girls. And right now, Sonya is the mean girl because she's beating up the pretty girl. That's the only difference. But the crazy thing is, Sonya Deville is not ugly. She's not unconventionally ugly. She's a pretty woman. She's a good looking woman. She just happens to be gay. She got great hair, great body. There's nothing wrong with Sonya Deville. For her to be so fucking upset at Mandy Rose for being blonde and buxom, I don't know why this is a storyline. When she came out and she was talking about and she was talking to the Miz and Morrison about why she's upset, it was so long. That monologue was so long. It literally exhausted me that I turned SmackDown. This is just me. Y'all might like it, but I did not. I just was like, this is entirely too long and too drawn out. Mandy Rose ends up coming out with a new hairdo. The haircut is cute. I seen it because I turned it. So I didn't get to see her, actually come out live. But I saw the haircut. The haircut was cute. And Mandy Rose still, it looks better than you from the way you saying it. I think a better storyline would have been maybe if Mandy Rose fucked her girlfriend. Or if Mandy Rose did some type of salacious thing in the back. But the storyline is literally Sonya upset that Mandy's pretty and is getting more preferential treatment. That's the storyline. And I just think it's lacking. And I'm trying to hold on and I'm trying to pay attention because the payoff is going to be this haircut at SummerSlam. That's going to be the payoff. At least I'm guessing. Because she keeps trying to shave this woman bald. As if that's not going to stop Mandy Rose from being pretty because she bald. The bitch could get a wig. So I don't care for WWE storylines. So this is what I want to talk about with Sonya Deville, and I want to know what you think. What do you think about Sonya? Are you a fan of Sonya? Do you like the storyline that she's in? Is she's giving you everything that you were expecting from her now that she's a heel? Because when she was a face, Sonya literally just stood in the back. Stood in the back, got kicked in the damn guts, and rolled out the ring, and Mandy would do her V trigger and call it a day. Or high knee, or whatever the fuck move they call it. She does it pretty well when she could catch it. Tell me what you think. This was a short one. I do think I do think Sonya Deville can be one of WWE's top star. I feel like the equivalent to Sonya Deville. If I had to pick an old school star that I think Sonya Deville could probably emulate is Jazz. I, I think the way, if you go back and look at Jazz and Trish Stratus's match, Jazz beat the fuck out of Trish Stratus. Like when Jazz, listen, that says a lot to Trish Stratus and her selling. But Jazz looked like she was fucking up Trish Stratus in the matches that they had. And this is what Sonya Deville is looking like she's doing to Mandy. Mandy is selling the best way she can. It looks brutal. It looks like she's in pain. I think if Sonya Deville can have the intensity of Jazz, she can be at that top level heel that is needed in the women's division, because the women's division is in the shambles right now. Even with Bayley and Sasha, in the head, it's in the shambles. So much so that we're gonna have a battle royale, and I don't know what the fuck's going on with that. But that's not what we talk about. So go in the comments and tell me what you think about Sonya Deville, and hit me up. Let's have the conversation. All right, y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.